This is the High-Performance HVAC podcast from National Comfort Institute. This podcast was recorded live at the AHR Expo 2025.
I am Adam Mufich again with National Comfort Institute. I'm with Al D'Ambola and Chuck Worley. You guys want to go around and just introduce yourself? We're at AHR 2025.
Yeah, absolutely, Adam. Again, my name is Al D'Ambola, trainer for NCI. Been teaching classes for a long time, and
I think Moby Dick was a minnow at the time when you started.
Was.
Okay,
He was. So, again, I've taught hundreds of classes for NCI all over the country, and Chuck is actually one of my students, as David Richardson, one of my students. So I'm happy to be here and happy to be hanging out with Chuck again. It's been a while.
It has. It's great. It is great. Yeah. So I am Chuck Worley. I am the founder and CEO of Worley Home Services. We're in Yorktown, Virginia. Most people don't know where Yorktown, even though there's a really important battle there. We're in between Virginia Beach and Williamsburg, Virginia. And I have restarted business, Worley's, in 2016. And we got a pretty successful company. Got about 85 guys working for us, and so that's me.
Nice. I wanted to talk a little bit about. Well, I'm looking at your jacket right now, and I'm just wondering, are you like a Miami Dolphins fan?
So when I go to Florida, I have to explain this a lot more than Virginia Beach, because I've done a really great job branding my company. We have green and orange trucks. You will notice when I walk by the Chuck E. T's, the Chuck Taylors, bringing back the 80s. One's orange, one's green. I got opposite color laces. My goal is to make people remember us. I mean, what's our job as a contractor is to remember people, or get people to remember. How many times does a homeowner walk up to you and go, "Oh, man, I just spent money with another contractor. I forgot you were a plumber. I forgot that you did heating and air conditioning." How many times does that happen to us? I mean, you just want to choke slam them like John Cena, man. So my goal is to get in front of homeowners every single day so they don't forget me, right? Because this jacket is really nice and it's hard to forget. I go to conferences like this, and meet people. "Oh, yeah, I remember meeting you the last time." Well, it's the same in my area code. I am the brand of the 757. I go into my goal is to, I started out in sales, and obviously when I was my company, I was the salesman. I mean, it's growing our business, and I'll talk a little bit about the growth of our business. But when I transitioned from, I probably shouldn't use that word. When I moved from full-time sales into marketing and branding, I went all in. I said, if this is all I'm going to be doing, I'm not going to be running 5-10 calls, 5 to 10 houses a day. If I'm going all in, I'm going all in. And I tend to not like second place in anything that I do. Because as I told my son, who's 30 now, that second place is the first loser. So I'm very driven to win, and I don't believe losing is okay. It's not okay in my house. Now, you can have less points than somebody else and learn from it, but you are not allowed to just take the loss. You can't just lose. You have to learn something from the loss, or it's useless, right? So winning is really important, and just a mindset I've had since, as far back as I can remember. But when I was going into branding and stuff and marketing my company, my goal was to get in front of 100 people a day. How do I do that? I'm at every single networking event. I'm at every single chamber of commerce. We got about 5 chamber of commerces in my area. So everybody has something going on every week. There is points during the summertime that I'm in 3 to 5 events a day, ranging from 10 people to up to 1,000 people. Like, we have State of the Unions, or not State of the Cities in our area. We have 17 cities that we market in, that we do business in. So I'm at all of them, and there could be 2,000 people at just one of them. So did I hit my goal that day? Yeah, I hit my goal that week, right? Because 1,000 people. Now, when I walk into a building, obviously I like to talk, but it is physically impossible for me to talk to 100 people in 2 hours. But can they see me? I walk in, I'm getting one of these, I'm getting the head bobs, I'm getting the dap up, so they're seeing me. I may not talk to them. I may have talked to them 3 months ago. They're going to recognize me. They're going to recognize my jacket. They're going to recognize my shoes. They're going to laugh at my Chuck Taylors. Typically, I get 2 looks. One look is, what the hell are you doing? Are you a Miami fan? Tennessee? What's the other one I get? Those are the big ones, Tennessee and Miami, because this orange is pretty bright, all right? I have one, believe it or not, that's actually brighter than this, but I try not to go crazy. So, but the point is, get people to notice you, get people to remember you. I promise you, I have people coming up to me more now saying, hey, your guy was at my house the other night, not, hey, I just called somebody else and had a $10,000 heat pump put in. Because, then I want to go back to chokeslam, right? Like, why are you telling me this? I don't want to know that. So, and it could be a really good friend, but they just don't think about you. They're in an emergency situation. I had one lady that walked up to me. I had never met her before, but she liked my Chuck Taylors, right? So she walks up. She goes, man, that's crazy. Do you have 2 of those shoes? Most people don't realize that. I had to buy 2 of these shoes to get one on each foot, right? To different color. So we start talking about it. Literally that night, her spouse calls the office. One of my guys goes out there. He's like 7:00 at night, his last call, and sells a $13,000 job. The next time I see her, 6 weeks later, she's like, hey, remember that night I met you? We were joking about the Chuck Taylors. I said, yeah. She goes, my spouse called and we bought a $13,000 job from you that night. I like that versus I forgot about you, right? So the goal.
Wearing those sneakers.
Dude, I'm wearing them sneakers every day now. So the only time I don't is if I'm going out with my wife and I got to calm down, She's like, you don't have to be on brand every day. But y'all know we do. We have to be in front of people. If we're not in front of people, they're not going to call us. They're not going to remember us. So my job, and getting in front of 100 people a day is a bit aggressive. If you're a smaller company, get in front of 5 people a day, 10 people a day. Have a conversation. You're at 7-Eleven and you got your shirt on. These guys that own their own company don't even wear a logoed shirt. Just cracks me up. I'm like, are you afraid someone's going to know what you do? Like, you want people to know what you're going to do. So wear your logoed shirts. Wear your baseball cap. If my heat pump's acting up and I see you got an AC hat on, what am I going to ask you about? Not the Cowboys, right? not Kansas City. It's going to be, hey, my AC doesn't really keep up in that back bedroom. Man, I could come out and take a look at that. Get people to think of you and your market. Own your brand. Own the 757. That's our area code. Own your zip codes. Be the company that everybody wants to be at and call.
Chuck, that's awesome. And that's why you're successful at what you do. And you've had some ups and downs, but what you present to people is absolutely awesome. And when you mentioned winning, I thought about when I first met you, we were talking some sports stuff, and you mentioned to me that you were a state champion in Virginia in wrestling.
Yeah.
I wrestled my older.
It was about 100 pounds ago, but yes, that was
a state champion. My brother was a Dynamite High School wrestler. I was his guinea pig. And we'd wrestle on a concrete floor. It was bad to be me, but that's pretty darn impressive.
But that's why you're tough, right?
I don't know about that, but pretty amazing what you accomplished way back then. So it's followed through all these years later. So that's awesome.
Yeah, I learned a lot on that team, and that team actually taught me team, right? It's wrestling's an individual sport for sure, but you can be a state champ, but what made my state championship so awesome is that my team won. So we had 6 seniors and 6 state champs.
Wow, that's amazing.
Yeah, we all finished.
Incredible.
Yeah, we finished on top. So that was but it taught me about the team that can rob. I didn't win state because I was the best wrestler on the team. I won state because I didn't want to be the guy that lost in the finals. Just that guy had no choice but to lose because I was either going to hurt him or win. I couldn't be the only guy in the finals that lost, So it was neat, that team chemistry that I didn't win for me, I won for them, right? And you can hate successful teams, but when I was just listening to, unfortunately, the whole city of Kansas City is sad now, but I was hearing, was it Travis Kelce talk about the team? He's like, man, I'm winning because I don't want to let the guys down, and and regardless, I'm sports team, what you like, I hated the Patriots, but how do you hate Tom Brady? Like, that guy is a winner. That guy he walks into a room, he's still winning, right? And it just looking at it, he gave up money to get good players, of course, when you're married to a multi-billionaire. But my point is that he gave up money to be on that team, to be part of a team. And I don't know, that's what you got to create at your own company. You got to create that culture. You got to create a culture that people want you or want to be part of. You've got to create a culture at your company that people want to be there. Winning is important. Winners are attracted to winners. Nick Saban is one of my favorite coaches, whether you like Alabama or not. The dude is a winner. He produces winners. And just listen to him talk about mediocrity, and he goes, I can't coach mediocrity. I can't be, mediocre. Sorry, I barely graduated from high school, but mediocrity, that's more syllables than I can handle in one mouth. So it's really important to mediocrity and winners are not going to be on the same team, right? I mean, the guys that are just killing it and working hard and all, they're going to detract the mediocre guys that are like, I'm just trying to be here. I'm just trying to be at Alabama. I ain't trying to actually work. That's not going to work. It's not going to work at my company. It shouldn't work at art. How many times have we just allowed somebody to work at our company that we knew was not our standard?
Good point.
I mean, nobody's shaking their head yes, but the honest guys, right? We've all done it. We can't do it. We cannot accept mediocrity in our company if we want to produce a great culture, because by allowing that guy to be okay, what are we saying to the guys that are crushing it? We're saying it's okay, and it's not okay, right? So I call it the Worley standard. Sometimes I'll nickname it the Chief standard. I was raised by an incredible man, senior chief, one of my heroes in life. The guy taught me how to work, and we just joking around about how smart I'm not is, barely making it through high school. And I was dyslexic in third grade. Like, I went to a special school for a year. I failed sixth grade. Like, if it wasn't for my mom in sixth grade, I probably would have been 21 by the time I graduated from high school. But it's real important to outwork everybody in the room. So I knew that I was never going to outsmart anybody, but I'm telling you, there is not one person in this room that can outgrind me. I always say there's grit and integrity. There is grit and integrity, and I am bringing back the grit and integrity. You've got to outwork everybody in the room, whether you're an employee, whether you're an owner. My guys got to see me out there grinding. They got to see my son out there grinding. When my son and I opened up, and I guess you want me to tell a little bit about my story, but I went to the apprentice school in Newport News Shipyard. Newport News Shipyard's they have apprentice school inside the shipyard. I got there actually through wrestling. My wrestling coach got me into the apprentice school. But if it wasn't for that, the trades changed my life. Getting into the apprentice school changed my life. Thank God for wrestling, because I barely got in with the grades. But I did graduate. That was our only requirement at the time. So, but going through the apprentice school, getting and learning a trade was real important to me and changing my life. I go in, I graduate, and then eventually open up my own company. I run that. I will tell you, my ex-wife led me to Christ, gave me 2 perfect kids, and at 50 decided that being single was what she wanted. So I went through a divorce. It took 4 years to get through a divorce. I had built my company up from just me in a truck to about $2 million or just over $2 million a year. And when she did that, it broke my spirit, broke my heart, broke me financially, broke. I was broke. I was scrapping metal in 2015, just trying to figure out what I was going to do with the rest of my life. And my son is 22 years old. He's incredible athlete, and he went Division I in lacrosse, went to NJIT, Al's neck of the woods, broke his back, freaking shin surgeries, knee surgeries, 6 surgeries in 4 years. So he ended up coming back to Christopher Newport University, which is in Newport News, Virginia. Great school, fantastic school. Goes back there, 22, he sees his broken dad, divorced dad, and he goes, Dad, why don't you just open your own company again? I looked at him and said, you have lost your mind. Like, no, I'm not. No, I'm just going to go make a couple $100,000 a year selling for somebody else. No, I am not going through payroll, employees. He said, Dad, I'll do all that. Let's do it together. Okay, my son, 22, best friend. I have not missed a sporting event in 22 years. Like, I have been to every single. When he went to New Jersey, I drove my RV to New Jersey twice a week because I was not missing a game, right? And our relationship is phenomenal. And I may choke up talking about him because he is an incredible man now. He's 30 now. But at 22, he sees this broken guy, and he goes, Dad, let's do it together, which y'all don't see it. But what I felt was this 22-year-old kid's looking at a broken, divorced, lost his business, and my son is believing in me. I don't know if that puts hair, in the back of your neck up, but I was like, all right, screw it, let's do it. So I go and I buy a company, doing a 10-year-old company, doing about $300 a year. I'm pretty good at that sales thing, so we turned that $300,000. That was in 2016, about midway through. 2017, we did $1.1 million. And my son is 22, carrying 18 credits, 21 credits per semester at college, full-time college student, still playing lacrosse, vice president of his fraternity, Pike. Like, the dude is working 50 hours a week for me. So all these people, I can't go work at McDonald's while I'm in college. Shut up. Go to work. Nobody cares. Like, work harder. Like, and he just crushed it. So he's 22 then. So we grow the business to 1.75 the next year. Again, my son is a senior. We have one girl answering the phone. He's doing everything else. All I'm doing is selling. I'm in the field. I'm running. I'm selling. And so carrying 18 to 21 credits per semester, and he's running a $1.75 million company while going to school full time. He's doing payroll at 3 a.m. on Thursday night, so that everybody gets 15 people get paid on Friday. Like, the dude's I give my ex-wife credit. Her brains, my work habits.
There you go.
So I did give him something. Both my kids, both successful at what they do. One's saving turtles at St. Croix and got pure capitalist like me. So my daughter is great. But anyway, basically when he graduated in 2018, he was full-time, took all the other responsibilities off of me. So all I had to do was focus on sales. So that year I sold $2.5 million. We did $3.5 million. So as a company, so we doubled the size of our company in 12 months. We did a few acquisitions, little small guys, 100,000, 200,000, small companies that had heard I was back in business, and I do like small acquisitions. I do. I'm not a pure cap. All the crazy capitalists and stuff, which I do think have a part in our trade. They are really blessing some older guys that are leaving the industry, but I believe keeping the integrity and the hometown guys, right? The company guys, the guys that the legacy companies, I think, are going away, and we are a legacy company. My son, like I said, still runs the ops. So kind of from $3.5 million in 2 years, we were 6.6. In 2 years, we were 10.2. Last year, we finished at 13.6, and we're already on budget for 17.5 this year. So I didn't do that by myself, man. We have an incredible team. In 2001, I created the 10 Commandments of an employee, of a family member, of a business, of our team. The 10 Commandments. You cannot work here if you cross or violate the 10 commandments of an employee, right? This is very important. You have to hold your line, hold your standard. If you don't, they will do whatever the heck they want. So my mission statement reflects what I created in 2001 when I kind of skipped over that. When I sold my company for $1, $2 million business for $1 to a guy who could not financially, for one reason or another, did not pay off my debt. So I handed him $200,000 in assets. He gave me $1, so he got the phone number. So basically he bought my company for $1 and was supposed to pay off the debt and did not. So what happens to the debt? Anybody want to know?
It's you.
100% on me. $500,000 of debt. I went from an 803 Beacon score to 450 in 12 months. I was 40 some years old, didn't even know what a judgment was. I do now, right? So I was in 2015. So we've transitioned, obviously I got to stop using that word. We have moved into a new business model. So my son is running the ops, I'm doing sales. And then when I started getting into the marketing and branding was when we hit about $5 or $6 million and letting our technicians sell. We do have some selling techs, but we got a couple salesmen now, but obviously at 13, we can't do all that by ourselves. But that's kind of how we've grown. The best part about my story is I went back and paid back every single person that I bankrupted on. It was over $500,000. And Doc Falk and Dom were part of that payback. And I will tell you the integrity guys that they are. I'm talking about you, Dom. The integrity guys they are. I cannot thank you enough for when my son was with me and I was going back and paying everybody back, writing checks. I mean, $70,000 checks to distributors that I owed for 7 years. I went to Dom and to Falk and I said, hey, I owe you guys some money. I owed them about $1,200. And this is from 7 years ago. And Don, and everybody knows Doc, right? Don't worry about that, Chuck. We're just glad you're back. I went to a summit or whatever. I'm glad you're back. And of course, y'all know Dominic knew to the penny what I owed him 7 years ago. We all know that, right? We all love Dom, but that man can do the math, right?
No doubt.
So anyway, he goes, you know what? Don't worry about it. And I said, no, I am worried about it. And Mr. Falk looks over and he said, Chuck, will you feel better if you pay us back? Absolutely. So I wrote him bite the check for $600. He goes, you feel better? I said, I do. And they both simultaneously. And my son saw me burst into tears. And he walks out. We walk out, and he's just like, that was really cool to be your son, to watch people who respect you and respect their dad. So it's cool. You surround yourself with winners. You surround yourself with good people. And God's going to bless you, right? There's no secret sauce. Go to work. Nobody cares. Work harder. It's not working. Go to work. It doesn't matter. Just grind. There's no secret to success, especially mine. It is just grind. You don't have to outsmart people. You don't have to outthink people. Now, you do have to think. My son does most of the thinking in our company, right? So my fiance will be wife here shortly. She's like, ready, fire, aim. That's me. Ready, fire, aim. I just go, right? So I got my son on one shoulder and Jolie on the other shoulder kind of directing my aim, right? So once they do, then boom, they know we're going to get it, right? Because I'm going to fire. So anyway, that's kind of my kind of comeback story. It's been a hell of a ride.
Amazing ride.
But God has truly blessed me.
When I met you way back when,
2005 or 6, weird.
I think it was in Indianapolis in 2005, and then I would see you at Comfort Tech.
Yep, that's right. Now, the funny story about Indianapolis is Dom probably realizes it now. What a big, juicy steak that he paid for that he didn't want to.
I love spending Dom's money.
I know you do. Yeah, I know you do. He's like, I said, man, I got this. He said, don't worry about it. Dom's got it. I said, oh, man, this is going to be a great steak if Dom's paying for it.
It was a heck of a good meal. I know that. Well, what I remember most is you had an incredible drive, but there were a couple other contractors that we kind of became a band of brothers.
Band of brothers.
It
That's
was
right.
you, Henry Sterling,
Vince
Vince
DeFlippo,
Filippo in Paoli, Pennsylvania, and Henry Sterling. Let's see, and David Richardson.
David Richardson.
And
Before NCI got David Richardson,
Correct.
there was David Richardson contractor.
Correct. David was one of my students. Now I work for him, which is pretty cool.
You must have been good. You trained
was
him to be that good.
He was awesome. He took the stuff he learned and he ran with it. He did it. And he became a true airhead.
He did.
And I remember him calling me up one day and he says, Al, I just tested out the way you taught me. And my air conditioning system is delivering 131% of the nameplate BTUs. I'm like, wow, David, 131%. I said, you now defined the law of physics. I don't think so. I said, you're only about 6 hours away. Today's about a 57-degree day here in the Cleveland area. And he said, oh, we're at 61. I said, now I got a good picture on that. I said, why don't you go test the house when you have a load on it?
Yeah.
And he calls me back a few weeks later. He says, well, today we're delivering 92%. I said, you're spot on.
That's more accurate. That's
There
more
you go.
accurate.
So
yeah, absolutely.
You guys, all of you had great drive, and I am so happy where you are today because I know you had a rough time, and it's been awesome. So
you realize a couple years ago I was walking through my shop and we had this 55-gallon drum like just full of scrap metal, and it hit me. I'm walking through there and I'm like, I was like scrapping metal for like back when it was $3 a pound. I was scrapping metal and then going to get something to eat. It was going to the metal place and I just burst into tears in the middle of my shop. I'm like, man, all the guys looking at me. I'm like, I gotta go. It was overwhelming, and how things have gone over the last couple of years.
And it's not uncommon what you went through.
No, everybody goes
We
through.
all have our peaks and valleys, and you bring so much hope to people that are struggling, which I absolutely love. It's awesome to see. So hard work is the price of success.
It is.
And your hard work and your persistence, you give people hope that might be struggling a little bit.
Yeah,
$10 million a year, but if somebody's struggling a little bit, they listen to Chuck Worley's story. You got a lot to offer people.
I tell people, look, there's no secret, right? We're all going to go through something, right? Whether it's divorce, which I wouldn't wish on my worst enemy, especially a 4-year divorce. Work harder. Nobody really cares. Work harder. There's no secret to success, man. You're out there grinding. You're underneath a house looking for opportunities. I mean, you just got to grind. It's the biggest thing that I've been very blessed is surrounding myself with winners, surrounding myself with people, whether they were in my trade or not in the trade, just seeing we all go through stuff. Just there is a light at the end of the tunnel. It may take 12 months. It may take 36 months. I didn't get to here on this stage in 2 years. That was 8 years ago when I was, 2015, however many years ago that is. I'm not great with math. I let my son do that. But it's, I think back of scrapping metal behind that building. I had no idea we were going to be at 13 million in 8 years. That's not even remotely possible. What we have done, and I tell people all the time, what we have done is literally impossible without God. Amen. And he is. That's where I pull my strength from. Some people believe that. You believe whatever you want to believe, but I'm going to tell my story. When you get up here, you can tell yours. I know that hard work works, but God's not going to bless somebody that's not working hard.
Correct. And I got to say, at NCI, I have never seen a man work as hard and as consistent for 20 some odd years as Dominic Areno. That man puts hours in. I'm talking, we would get to the office maybe 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning, and he's there until 9 or 10 o'clock at night.
Right.
And not once in a while, but
there's no secret to success, guys.
Correct.
It's just believe in yourself, put the freaking hammer down, and let's go.
That's awesome. That is absolutely awesome.
Your story is fascinating. I know you guys were talking about the Band of Brothers, and I'm just kind of taking this all in because you guys have a ton of history together, right? But I want to know more about like how you got involved with NCI, and are you implementing some of the training and some of the procedures?
So how we started was Comfort Tech. If anybody remember Comfort Tech? It was about a third, maybe, of what we're doing here.
About 1,000 people.
Yeah,
1,500, something like that.
It's probably less than 2,000 people. So basically, a couple classrooms here.
Mm-hmm.
This is actually my first time at AHR. I did not realize this was such a big.
This is amazing.
It's a great show. So back in 2005, I met Falk and Doc and Dominic, and then I ran into Vince. Vince did a class at the show, and I'm pretty sure you did one too. And so I went, and I'm just going through, and I'm like, they're doing the math, and I'm not great at math, but I'm like, that's so with NCI stuff, once you see what you see, it's kind of like let the lights come on. It's hard not to unsee it, so you're trapped in that, I really want to do the right thing. I really do want to deliver 97% efficiency to a customer. So going through that, we were a lot smaller company at the time. So it was me and Steve, who actually is still with me. I'd show him the math, and then I'd send him to classes. And, we probably had 13, 15 guys back then. So I'd take half of them and go to a class in Richmond or whatever. And CO, back when Davis was doing those.
And CO.
Yeah. So that was life-changing for people. Like, once you see what he shows you, it's hard to unsee that, So so implementing it was a little bit easier with the smaller company. And it was very, I will tell you this, just last week I went onto a job site and I saw radius turns, squared arounds, radius turns, had a box, but with a radius turn on it, all this stuff. This unit is 19 years old. It's a Train dual fuel 16 SEER, dual fuel 92% efficient furnace. I mean, the guy's bills are nothing. He bought the house 14 years ago. He's like, yeah, I think this is the original equipment. The house was built in like 90s, but we had replaced out this system. And I said, I can promise you we did this. I said, dude, it had Steve written all over it. Like, because back then it was kind of me and him,
I remember him.
So, yeah, he's a big, tall, redheaded guy. So anyway, we came in. He said, you can't tell me you installed it. I said, I'm telling you, I've been to this address. I knew it looked familiar. We did this job. I said, let's go look at the equipment. Of course, it's got my old stickers of my old company on the side of it. I said, I told you. And I said, that was back when that 16 SEER was a 2-stage. So, I mean, this unit is 19 years old, still humming. It is still going great. The ductwork, perfect. All air sealed, all air balanced. It was, anyway, I was very excited about that, but that literally was a week ago, So when you install this stuff properly, how much longer does it run? It's just going to run so much longer. So now the last 8 years, you can kind of tell by my story what I've been focused on is growth and building the business. And just about a year or so ago was kind of when I was starting to do the I'm horrible at implementation. That's why I have people that work for me who are good at that. But we started going back to classes with CO. I think I've had 5 or 6, 7 guys go through the CO class in Richmond last year. And then, so now we're implementing, trying to get everybody, because I can't do it by myself, right? I got to get people into classes and stuff. So really baby steps to implementing. So
nice. That's awesome to hear. Do you look at yourself as like a high performance company? Is that part of your brand, like what you're providing with your customer?
So that's a great question. I would say yes, because I'm a building science geek. I actually have a radio show in my area called the 757 House Whisperer. And what that show is about is fixing houses in my area. Again, the brand of the 757. I am the company to call when there's any problems on your house. It is so flattering when a company calls me, hey, what roofer should I use? Right? I taught that customer, I'm the guy she needs to hear from. I'm the guy that she's not just going through the good luck Google. She wants to know what kind of contractor do I trust to send out. So I created this 757 House Whisperer radio show on 790 AM. Anybody under 40, that's the button right next to FM on your car. It's FM and AM radio. I got to explain that to people under 40, right? So, but it's a talk radio show, Ask the Expert show. Again, I am creating one thing. Worley's Home Services is the brand, is the contractor you want to call. So I am putting myself in a position, having this radio show, and the founder and host of the radio show. I've got like a roofer on there, a pest control person, a thing, and we all kind of pay in. And so we're all kind of the Ask the Experts every Wednesday night from 6 to 7. I told them, some of y'all don't know where Norfolk is, but there is a lot of traffic in Norfolk at 6 p.m. on a Wednesday. So I've created a podcast booth in my shop, basically. So me and all these other contractors, 3 or 4 of us every single week, get together and answer questions that homeowners call in. We'll have anywhere from 2 to 8 people call in per week, all talking about the performance of the house. So insulation, spray foam. We also do, of course, electrical, plumbing, HVAC, ductwork, all that. But we do crawl space encapsulations. We do spray foam insulation. We do insulation. We're kind of the whole house, which is why I created the House Whisperer show, because, going back to the dog whisperer and the horse whisperer and all that stuff. So people are looking to us for answers. So trying to create your niche in your market is creating, who do I call when I have a problem about my house? And that is me. So home performance, building science, blower door testing. We have all the equipment to do blower door testing. We just don't have time to do it, right? So I have 2 contractors that do blower doors in my area for new construction. One guy just comes in and he's in and out in an hour and a half and does a blower door very inexpensively. And then I have a guy that's, $1,500 and gives you a 50-page, essay about the problems in the house. So I will sub to those guys, get the answers that I need. And when I come back, I'm not just guessing at what the problems are in the house. So yes, home performance, I think it's very important, but I think the whole house is important.
It absolutely is.
We've got, how many times have we put in a system and they're like, man, it's 106 outside, which in Virginia is never 106. Yeah, maybe 100, and then the next day it's 42. So Virginia is she's very moody. I think she's a bit bipolar. So she changes temperatures very, very frequently, mostly daily, but it's really important to offer more than just a heat pump to them, be a solution, people are going to call in the radio show. People are calling, asking questions about their problems, which to me turn into, it's a symptom of what the real problem is. See, they're calling me about, hey, my ductwork's sweating. To them, is that the problem? Yeah. Mm-hmm. I mean, that's their problem. They have sweaty ductwork. So I go in and I realize, okay, it's a hot 100-degree day with sweating ductwork. Well, that's because math is mathing. You got 40-degree air on the inside the duct, 100-degree, 90% humid air on the outside the duct. It's math. Of course it's sweating. Of course it's condensing. Of course there's mold. When people in Virginia tell me that there's no mold on their duct system, it's because they haven't seen it, not because it's not there. It's math. Hot touches cold causes condensation, right? I always tell people, when you go out, when you have iced tea on the back porch in a glass, it's going to sweat. You can insulate that glass. It's still going to sweat. Like, it's hot, humid air touching cold air. It's going to, or cold liquid. It's going to sweat. So when these customers are calling in and asking these questions about their real problems, we say, well, that's actually a symptom of what the problem is. And we explain the math and the science and the home performance of the thing. And they're like sitting back, well, I got 3 prices for ductwork. So let's go through the process. We replace the ductwork, whatever these crazy people are giving ductwork away for. But it's let's just say you replace the ductwork. If I come back a week from now and it's a hot, humid day, do you think that new ductwork's going to sweat? It's math. Yeah, it's going to sweat. So why don't we fix the real problem, the symptom is sweaty ductwork. The problem is actually he needs to encapsulate his crawl space. So who are they going to use? I'm using science. I'm not saying my opinion's smarter than the other guy. I'm not bigger than the other guy. I'm smarter than the other guy. No, let's use math and science and home performance. Let's use that math we're the only ones that showed them a formula of, oh, dang. Yeah, I guess you're right. That ductwork probably is going to sweat. I mean, people know that. When you simplify it, hot touches cold, like sweat, condensation. Well, it's just mathing is what I say.
I love this synergy between what you're doing with the HVAC and with the building science. And I would say in the past 3 months as an instructor for NCI, I've had numerous building science professionals come to my classes and want to know what we do on the HVAC side and with airflow and stuff. And I think
it goes
awesome.
Together.
It absolutely does. You have to have that. So kudos to you for doing that. And we need the building science guys as much as what we do. We still, if that envelope is not right.
I mean, let's say you refer like I said, if you don't have the capacity, you don't have the blower doors, that's all fine. Find somebody in your neighborhood is doing something
Absolutely.
with blower door. In fact, you may help them create a business because we really don't have time. We don't make money testing like we do, installing, right? You're installing a $10,000 heat pump versus, going to do a blower door for 8 hours, or half a day. It's utilize your talents and use other people around you for what they want to do, which is testing, right? So it is hard to have a testing company and an HVAC company. I've had one. Yeah. Right? When I was doing $2 million a year, I was doing new construction testing for blower doors and back before it was cool in the early 2000s. So I've had that company. It's difficult. If you have one in place, kudos. That's fantastic. Keep going. But it's hard, So find somebody to complement you. He goes in and does the testing. You go back and fix it. You pay him to go back and test it. Are we going to do a good job if we know it's being tested, especially? Of course.
The test out is critical.
Who's that guy going to refer from now on? 100% us, because nobody else has the gumption to call the guy back in and test your own work. I'm okay with testing my own work because I'm okay if something's wrong because I know I'm going to fix it. Right? Most of our egos won't allow us to have, someone come back and test our work. I'm okay with it because if it's wrong, we're going to fix it.
Testing out is huge for the consumer. They're investing in you, but it's also huge for the company because when the other employees find out your test out numbers, to me, it's a motivating factor for those particular HVAC companies because the culture slowly starts to change in a good way.
And think about this. It's a third-party testing. It's a third-party testing.
And right? It's not only, hey, like a morale type thing. Like, hey, you learn from me. You learn from yourself. If your test out is not great, you're learning as you're going. And every time you do a job, you get a little bit better, right?
Correct. You find out what you missed.
Right.
Just like air balancing. Not right. What did you miss?
Yeah.
And you find it and you stay there until the job is done and do it right. It's good for the customer, number one, and good for you and good for the company. So,
yeah. Well, I got to say, just hearing your story, it's been fascinating. I know we've crossed paths a couple times. We haven't spent a lot of time talking, and I didn't realize how connected you guys were. I know you had some history, but the Band of Brothers seemed like a pretty cool thing. And, I have a group of friends that we kind of had the same thing going on, and
it's priceless. It's great.
Yeah, it's amazing. And just seeing the, you're saying you're on you're projected to do 17 million this year. I'm excited to see where you're at next year. You know what I mean? It's pretty cool. And like I say, he stands out. You know what I mean? He's like, you might not talk to him, but you seen him. I saw you at Summit.
Doing my job.
Yeah, you're doing your job.
Doing my job. So,
Next AHR, he's buying the steak.
That's right. That's right. That's right. No, I think we should still make Dom do that. I think.
Well, I think the what is it? The food, what do they call that? You know, where you spend food on the company's dime. What is it called?
Called great.
Yeah. But I think we got capped out because of Al.
Oh, there's 100% chance that happened. Yeah, it's 100%.
It was funny because Dom would send an email years ago to the instructors. There weren't a lot of us, but it was about spending too much money on food. Jim Davis could last a week on a ham sandwich. Al, oh no.
No, it's
a little more.
You got me out of state, away from my family. I'm gonna eat good. I'm gonna eat good.
Well, I appreciate you guys. It's been a great conversation. I'm sure we're going to be talking in the future. So, signing out from AHR 2025. Thank you.
All right.
Thank you.
Thanks for the interview. Thanks, guys.